and welcome to the Misfits Makery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make your forest wreath. Now I just want to show you what you've got in your box. You've got a rattan wreath, 3 hand-painted mushrooms, and 3 crystals. You've got some wire which is cut to length and some jute string which is also cut to length. There are 4 chains and 4 split jump rings and a charm. Wooden rings to hang your wreath. You've got some feathers and 2 different types of flower. Some of the crystals will come with clasps on them, but if they don't, that's what the wires were for, and on your mushrooms you'll have wire already attached. Then we just have a bag of moss and a pot of glue. The first thing we're going to do is just decide which way we want our wreath to sit. I'm going to have my mushrooms across the wider part here. So if you just pick one up, what you're going to do is you're going to have the wire going through the wreath. So you've got one going down the back and one going across the front. If you just kind of loosely hold it in position there, you can grab both of the wires with your finger and thumb and just pull it tight and give it a couple of twists. And if you pull it relatively tight and twist the wreath so you don't lose grip of the wire, that will just hold it really securely in place, and you can make a couple of little adjustments to where it's sitting. Then you can cut that wire off, but I like to leave it there because it just adds a little bit of security to the mushroom, and you can just tuck it into the wreath, and you won't be able to see this later because it will all be covered in moss. Just give it a little shake to show you that it's nice and secure. And then I'll just go ahead and do exactly the same thing with the other 2 mushrooms. So some of the crystals will come with a little silver clasp on them, but if you have a crystal without, then you'll get some wire. I'm just going to show you how to make the clasp. So you're going to hold the wire on the crystal and you're just going to wrap the wire around nice and tight, sort of 2 or 3 times. And then what you can do is you grab hold of the other side and twist it around, just like you did when you were securing the mushy to the wreath, and that will just really secure it on there. And then you can add a few more twists around so that the wire looks like 1 wire instead of 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a little loop that goes over the top of the crystal. Before you complete that loop, grab your split jump ring and just feed it onto the wire, because it's a lot easier just to get this little ring on there whilst it's not attached at the other end. And from there you're just going to carry on twisting the wires around until there's enough to get round to the other side. Can just mold it into shape a little bit over the top of that. And then if you open the wires up, what you'll do is you'll wrap around the crystal in opposite directions. Just make sure that your jump loop's out the way so it doesn't get tangled. Do another twist the other side so it's nice and secure. And then you can just wrap the excess wire around the crystal. You've got a couple of options there. You can wrap it all the way around, or if you want to, you can just grab a pair of scissors and cut that excess off. It's totally up to you how you want your crystal to look. Next thing you need to do is to grab your crystal and attach it to your chain. If you just sort of pop your fingernail in between the 2 bits of metal, you'll be able to open it up enough to slide the chain through. So just pop it through on the very last loop of your chain, and then you can just spin it around until it's secure inside the ring. I'm just going to show you how to attach your crystal to your wreath. I grabbed a separate wreath just so it's nice and clear for you to see. You have to decide how long the chain's going to be, and remember that your mushies will be standing up underneath these crystals, so you don't want the chain to be too long, but how long it is and where you position it is totally up to you. So you'll find a little 10cm piece of wire in your kit. Just slide it through one of the links once you've decided how long you want it to be, and the link that will be closer to the bottom of the wreath. Then just wrap it around the top of the wreath, and again pull it nice and tight like you did with the mushy and just give it a twist. From here you can tuck in the excess wire and the excess chain, or you can just snip it off with some sharp scissors. And just follow exactly the same process when you're hanging your charm from the bottom of the wreath. Pick a length, grab your little piece of wire and pop it through a link, and then just wrap it around the wreath to secure it. So these little paper flowers have got wires on the back, and these are easier to pop in before you start adding the moss. So just poke them through the wreath, and then you can just pull them tight at the back. And you can either wrap them around and poke them into the wreath, which is what I've chosen to do, or you can get a pair of scissors and just sort of snip off the excess wire, but they're held in place quite securely like that. Next, we're going to put the feathers in place. So you don't need any sort of wire or glue for these, because what you can do is just slide them down into place between the wires and the rattan, and they're held in really securely like this. So just decide where you want them to go and poke them down into place. To attach the ring, you just need to fold your piece of string in half and poke the folded part through the ring, and then grab hold of those tail parts of the string and pull them through, and you've got it hooked over nice and secure. I like to tie a knot in my string once I've decided how long I want that handle to be, and what that does is it allows me to wrap one string over the front and one string over the back, and once you've finished wrapping, you'll be able to tie it in a knot at the back. It also means that what you can do is cover up that excess chain, which you can snip off. I didn't, but it is actually a bit easier to cover with the string if you snip that excess chain off. You just need a decent pair of scissors to do it. So if you have one piece of string going over the back from the knot, and then you can go one round the front and just wrap it around, make sure your crystals are out of the way, and just keep on wrapping until you've used up all the string, and then when you turn it over, you'll just be able to tie a knot in the back. Now you just need to grab your glue. We're going to start getting the moss on. So do it in little sections and give the wreath a pretty good coating. You can grab a brush if you want, just to kind of spread it around, but you don't need to do that. And once you've got a little patch covered there, you're just going to grab hold of the moss, and again, do this in little sections because it will just stick on a little bit better. Give it a little push and just put it on a little bit at a time. And you're just going to make your way around all of the bottom of the wreath, just covering over all of those wires and any other bits that you want to add on to it. And as you go around, you'll cover sort of the front, and you can go underneath and across the back as well. I cover the wires across the back with mine, and you can see that it goes kind of up the inside. I like mine to be quite asymmetrical. So if you just kind of make it up as you go along, it looks a lot more organic that way. You can see here I've just turned it over to cover the wires across the back. And just some of these little bits across the front as well. Then we've just got these little flowers. So these will just go on with the glue. They've got tiny little stalky bits. If you just kind of splodge some glue all around the outside of there, and you'll just be able to push them into the moss. And if you push a little bit further down, you'll feel that that little stalky bit goes in between the rattan and just kind of slots into the wreath there. And you can add as many or as few as you like. And there you have it, your forest wreath. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.